Good morning, ma'am. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sir. Puneet, be seated. How are you today?
I'm good, ma'am.
You're
How are
good?
you?
Okay, I am also good. And nice weather in Delhi.
Yes.
Let's talk about Bangalore, the latest, big blast and all that, and so much of commotion is happening there. Tell me a little about it. How did it happen, and how this could have happened? Because people are looking towards India, and such issues will really make people very apprehensive about India. What is your take, and tell me a little about it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, recently an unidentified person, he came with a bag and he placed in a very much famous cafe in Bangalore, Rameshwaram Cafe, and he had escaped from the particular place. He was completely covered. So it was a IED blast. So it was a handmade, we also call it as a handmade bomb. So along with that, he had added few of the nails and the glass pieces also, because of which the injuries were there. So these IED blasts are majorly taken by Maoists, as well as we have seen in Jammu Kashmir militancy as well. So because of the increasing radicalization, especially in the coastal Karnataka, we see that these attacks has been happening.
In the heart of the city, people go there for breakfast, and he buys a token and he doesn't take it. So there should be more, kind of vigil there.
Yes, ma'am.
So have we arrested him as yet or not?
No, ma'am, we are not able to yet find him. So it's the investigation is still on, ma'am. NIA has been with the police, state police, and they are investigating now.
Do you think that these incidents really bring a bad name to India?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is one of the incidents which we have seen. The last attack in Bangalore, which was happened, it was in 2018, where 3 of them got injured, and the previous attack was again in 2014. So it was one of a person, rather than any organization conducting the attack. It is one of the person who themselves are coming and coming with these attacks, ma'am. So though the state police is very much vigilant and very much powerful in state, the problem is there is lack of security measures. If you consider Rameshwaram Cafe, it's one of the poshest as well as one of the very good restaurants in Bangalore. So there has been no security check or anything in the city except the CCTV. So we need to have, at least in these hub of the Bangalore, we need to have few of the security measures. At least
these places become very vulnerable because it is a very popular
Yes,
joint. So these there has to be some kind of scanning before they get in.
Yes, ma'am, I agree with that, ma'am.
Right. Now let's talk about the 2 civil codes which were changed and the other Evidence Act. I know you will not be able to tell the name in the Hindi, doesn't matter. Tell me what is there for a police officer. IPS is your second choice, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to read upon it, but I do know the names, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Samhita, Bharatiya Suraksha Samhita, ma'am.
Nagrik Suraksha and then Nyaya.
Nyaya Samhita, ma'am. And for Evidence Act, which I'm right now not able to tell.
Saksh Adiniyam.
Saksh
Adiniyam. Doesn't matter, the name is not important. Tell me the takeaways from there for police officer.
Yes, ma'am. It was one of the, with respect to police officer, I have to read, ma'am. But we have seen that there has been a rationalization of the number of crimes which have been included, and we are seeing that sedition kind of acts. The exact provisions has been reduced, and it will be taken in the rarest of the rare case. But I have to read upon the.
We have changed that. The name also has changed. It is not Rashdro say that has become Rajdro. So that is a very, very important change, because that colonial legacy is going away. Police custody, you have to know, there is whether you are going for IPS or are not going for IPS, you are bound to know all that as a responsible citizen, isn't it?
Yes.
I will change my domain. Let's talk about 2 days back. We were talking about the third quarter of GDP growth. Can you tell me what was the growth rate and why India has become so optimistic about it?
The growth rate was 8.3% with respect to the GDP, but we saw the divergence of 190 basis points with respect to the GVA compared to the GDP. Majorly, we have seen this because of the increase of net taxes as well as the decrease of fuel subsidies, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is one aspect, and we have also seen that manufacturing and the industrial services, the percentage has increased, and we have also observed that the real estate as well as the industry, it has come back to the 2019 level, ma'am.
So that would be the reason. What are your projections for the next quarter?
Ma'am, around 9%, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'll give you a hypothetical situation. We are aspiring to become a developed country by 2047. How do we go about it? The present GDP growth rate and the per capita income. These are the two indicators. You take it from today itself and then tell me at what rate we have to grow so that we achieve our target in 2047. There are many parameters, but I'm asking you to focus your answer on these two parameters.
According to World Economic Forum, we have to maintain a consistent growth of 12% to achieve the goal with respect to 2047. That is one aspect. And with respect to per capita income, because of the rising population, we have to catch up with the per capita income also, ma'am. That will be a really big challenge to keep up with this.
How much should be the per capita income by the year 2047?
Around 12,000, ma'am.
12 to 14,000. We have to keep that inflation also into account.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And the growth rate should not be less than 10%. That's all right. Now you tell me, for becoming a hub for semiconductor, what exactly is happening in that domain? Where did the story start?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, recently we have seen that government has ordered for 3 chip companies to be established. So Tata company is playing a major role for establishing this chip manufacture company in Gujarat. And along with that, we have also seen in Assam as well chip packaging. So that has also come up in Assam.
First time Assam is, a state like Assam is also into that race, and they would. Which are the 3 companies which are majorly interested in India's collaboration?
Yes, ma'am. Right now, with respect to the announcement, 2 of them are Tata company itself, and one is CG.
About the foreign collaborator.
Foreign collaborator. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one is Tesla has announced that they want to establish.
They are not into semiconductor. Don't guess. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So, Puneet, what does Puneet mean in Kannada?
No, sir, it's a Sanskrit word.
In Sanskrit family.
Yes, sir. It's a Sanskrit word which means pure.
Pure. Really pure. You study civil engineering. Why is it called civil engineering? What is civil about this engineering?
Yes, sir. So the nomenclature was majorly changed by the US government in somewhere in 80s, where it was majorly a military engineering. When they were constructing for the civil purposes, when I mean to say for civilians, it may be the roads or the buildings. So that particular time, the nomenclature was changed to civil engineering.
Okay. So how do you link, because geography you have taken as optional.
Yes.
How do you link civil engineering with geography? Which are the areas?
Sir, first is majorly the soil and the land conditions. Okay. So without that, civil engineering
one
is not.
That.
Second, majorly being the water resources, because in civil engineering we also see the water management. Third, being the traffic capacity. It is especially the curves as well as the roadways where we have to lay. And fourth, majorly being the GIS and the GPS, sir. So when we consider this, civil engineering is right now moving towards that.
Okay, thank you. Very good. And you are interested in podcasts.
Yes, sir.
What are these blogs, vlog, podcasts? There are different names. Why so many names? And that confuses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Podcast is basically an audio-video medium where an interviewer comes and a particular personality in a respective field shares his opinion and perspectives about that particular field. Whereas vlogging is about an individual person making his own camera videos with respect to any experience or any travel experience. Vlog.
So this also has a video. Podcast can be video or audio both.
Yes.
So then how would it differ vlog and this podcast, video podcast?
Sir, in vlog, majorly we see that an individual, he himself is sharing his experience. Whereas in a podcast, it's a dialogue between the two people where the guest speaks more. Sir.
Okay. And have you also created yourself some
No,
podcasts?
sir. I am more
You
interested
were
in.
interested in learning all these.
Yes.
So, which one you like the most? Which is more famous or you like?
Yes, sir. Smita Prakash is there. She carries off the podcast in ANI channel. Along with that, the Ranveer show by Ranveer Alabadia is there. Along with that, Raj Shabman is there. He also conducts this podcast.
You don't like Jet Talks? No.
No, sir. I'm more interested in these.
Why do you like Smita Prakash podcast?
Sir. So when we compare to the other people where they are speaking more, Smita Prakash is a particular person who allows the guest to speak, and she speaks on multiple divergence areas. So that is one specialty where Smita Prakash has been able to move forward compared to these.
Why you never thought of creating one?
Sir?
Creating your own podcast?
Yes, sir. Sir, if I get an opportunity, I will definitely would like to
Because you
create.
mentioned motivational this thing also you read books. One book you name which you have recently read and influenced you, motivated you rather.
So The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. So that is one book which has been being very much motivational for me, sir, and I've read recently.
Thank you. Please.
Thanks.
Yeah, you have opted for geography. In that terms, what is disaster management is all about? And how did you estimate the area which was has this problem with crisis? And what do you take in terms of as a civil engineer that what should government have done in this area?
Sir, I didn't get the second part because of.
Yeah, you are as a civil engineer. What is your take that government should do about all this to mitigate this kind of problem or this kind of crisis which is being generated due to these kind of constructions, dam and everything, or the projects, multi-purpose projects?
Yes, sir. The first is a disaster management. Sir, it is a where the stakeholders, especially the government, NGOs, as well as the citizens, they come together and manage any particular disaster which has striken unforeseeingly. So that is the disaster management. And second, as a civil engineer, first thing what I'll be seeing is the zoning of the disaster, sir. So with respect to the earthquakes or the floods or the drought condition, whichever that area is very much vulnerable, that I'll be zoning. Second, I'll be making sure that prevention is much more important, because when the people among there, if they are very much prepared to prevent the disasters, very much or the mitigate the disaster will be very much beneficial. Third, I'll be seeing, especially if it is a landslide zone or earthquake zone, especially in hilly areas, I will advise the people to take alternative building materials like wood, which will cause less damage to the people. Sir.
But this kind of multi-purpose project in that kind of landslide prone area, this kind of seismic zone, in which seismic zone this area is coming, you must be knowing. So in that kind of situation, you are building this kind of thing. So what is your suggestion?
So before we take up any particular project, we should make sure that the environment clearance is very much correct. And if it is in seismic zone 5 or 4, then we should try to avoid any large dams in this particular region, sir, because it will cause a lot of havoc in the.
I have to know about your opinion about this crisis, that how it could have been mitigated or it could not have happened. What
Sir,
should be the steps? That I particularly want to know.
Sir, I'm not able to hear because of the.
Yeah, I am just telling you that what are the steps that is required to have in future, there should not be this kind of crisis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So majorly, again, when we are taking up any new projects, we should make sure that it is not in any particular seismic zone. Along with that, environmental impact assessment has to be created for this particular project. Along with that, social impact assessment also we should create it. Along with that, if at all any retrofitting of any structures can happen with respect to seismic activity, we should also go for that. And the new structures which have been created in the design aspect itself, we can get these factors involved where the disasters are very much prone, sir.
So you have said that in geography, particularly which topic, which section you are most uh, favorable one.
Sir, urban planning and transportation, sir.
So in terms of that, once you see the kind of problem, the master plans and which is being for the metropolitan cities. So what kind of problem it has that we are still having so much of problem in terms of flooding, in terms of pollution levels. So why this is, and what should be have been, because we are making master plans, and even in that kind of situation, we are not having any kind of adequate measures. We are still having so much of problem. Like in Delhi, the air pollution and everything, the index is very bad. It's worse. So why?
Yes, sir. Sir, when we are planning itself, if at all it's for a new city or a tier 2 to tier 1 city, so there itself we have to assume that the population will be very much high and the capacity of the vehicles will be more. So according to the road design should be made. And coming to the existing cities, what we can go for is electrical vehicles, sir. Along with that, what we have seen in Mysore is there has been more number of charging infrastructure. So because of this particular, many people are opting for electric vehicles because of the convenience. And also when it comes to Delhi, a Delhi model where CNG or the natural gas is being taken. So that model can also be implemented rather than any fuel-based vehicles, sir.
Government initiative in this field of electric vehicles. What is the incentives government is giving?
Sir, initially they had given 30% subsidy for buying the electric vehicles. Now FAME scheme has been taken up phase 2 where they are offering incentives for the infrastructure, charging infrastructure, sir.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
Good morning to you, Puneet. How are you? You take interest in international relations, right? So, can you tell me your analysis of the elections in Pakistan? Particularly, what does it mean for India? Is there something we need to keep in mind?
Sir. So what we have seen the mandate of Pakistan, it has been a very much mixed reaction or the coalition government which has been formed. So I believe that it's going to be a weak political regime. So in India's interest, what we want is a weak Pakistan, but a strong political leaders over there, so that we can have dialogue and discussions, especially to stop cross-border terrorism.
Why do we want a strong government there? We say it, but do we really want a strong government in Pakistan?
So we are a country which believes in discussions and deliberations, so we need a political leadership to speak up to, sir. Otherwise, there will not be any particular person we can speak to, either the ISA or the army establishment. Political leaders, they cannot speak to them, sir, directly.
Why don't we speak to the army? Most Western countries don't bother about civilian. They say, army is there, they talk to us and implement what we need to do.
Sir, we have always been a democracy which we have, where the military establishment is always under executive leadership, sir. So we also believe that we want the similar kind of leaders to talk to. Otherwise, it's going to be very much difficult to have any particular talk, sir. Because what we have seen, whenever the army establishment has come in Pakistan, we have faced wars in Kashmir, sir.
But army is always there since independence, whether in the front or in back. They are always the key player in Pakistan, right?
Yes, sir.
Even now, right?
Yes, sir.
Even now, Pakistan, yeah. Okay, and the Indus Water Treaty, you have some idea about the Indus Water Treaty?
Yes, sir.
Can
It
you?
was brokered by World Bank in 1960.
Right.
Because of which the western part of the rivers has been taken by Pakistan and the eastern has been taken by India. So since Pakistan is a down state and we are upper riparian state, so what Pakistan has told that we should not construct much of the dams which will reduce the water capacity of the Indus waters. And it has been a very much peaceful treaty and it's one of the successful treaties which we have seen in the world, sir.
Right, but we have now built capacity to stop Ravi, right? So, is it a good move to stop the flow of waters into Ravi? Is it a good move, particularly when there's a new government in Pakistan? Today, there's a swearing in of the new government, and you welcome them with stopping water in Ravi waters. What would you say to that?
Sir, I believe that India has made a strategic move in making the dam. Rather than we are stopping it, we have just made a particular dam so that the water capacity slightly is reduced. So This will have a particular edge or the advantage in future talks if at all Pakistan takes any terrorist step against India. And second, we also want cultural ties with Pakistan, sir. So I don't think that completely stopping the water to Pakistan will be a good idea, and it will send a wrong message to the people of Pakistan.
No, we have certain rights in the Indus Water Treaty. What's wrong with using our rights? We are allowed the eastern rivers, as you say, right? Ravi is allowed to us, Ravi waters for consumptive use. So what is wrong with that?
Sir, according to the treaty, we are allowed to construct, but
Yeah.
the people of Pakistan or the political establishment, they tell that it will reduce the water capacity of Pakistan. So because of which their agriculture will struggle. So, but we have the power and the rights to construct the dam of the Ravi River.
So we have not done anything wrong, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Legally, we have not done anything wrong.
Yeah. Jammu and Kashmir, again, since we are on the Pakistan theme, recently our foreign minister, in fact, several times he explained why, as far as India is concerned, the J&K issue is over. All that is required to be done is recover the territories which are under occupation, right? So, what are the reasons he gave that Jammu and Kashmir is over? Article 370?
So
And-
Jammu Kashmir has always been an integral part of India,
Right.
irrespective of which of the areas are occupied by Kashmir, by Pakistan, sir. So the abrogation of Article 370 sends a strong message where that we will be occupying the remaining areas as well. Since it all belongs to the territorial integrity of India, it is very much part of India, sir.
Yeah, but the argument he gave, right? That what is it about about the instrument of accession? He has given two arguments, the External Affairs Minister.
Yes, sir.
370 and instrument of accession. Have you read that?
I have to read upon it.
Yeah, no, don't worry, but read about it, clear in the mind. What he said is the instrument of accession which J&K ruler signed was no different from any other instrument of accession signed by other princely states. And 370 was a temporary provision. Temporary cannot be for ever. So that is also over. So J&K is ours. All that remains to be done is to recover territories. And which are those territories controlled by Pakistan? Would you have any idea?
So Baltistan is the occupied territory, sir.
That's all?
And what Pakistan says is the Azad Kashmir areas.
Right. And they've given away one portion to China, right?
Yes, sir.
What is that called?
So Shazgam Valley.
Shaksam Valley, 1963 or so, right? And China has also occupied some territory, right? What is that called?
So right now I'm not able to recollect it, sir.
Ladakh side, yeah? Aksai Chin?
Aksai Chin.
You have heard of Aksai Chin. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.